Hi everyone, can you hear me? Yeah. Thanks for that introduction. I'm actually an immigrant to Cape Town. I grew up as a kid in Swaziland and then I went to school in KZN on the north coast. But I've been in Cape Town for a long time. Hi everyone. It's a privilege to be here today at the 18th Real Estate Development Summit. I'd like to thank Ravi and his team for the welcome I've had. It's a real privilege to be here. I would like to take the opportunity to share our work and our vision for the future of African real estate and architecture. I'm a principal at SAOTA. We're an architectural studio based in Cape Town, South Africa. And today I'm really going to focus on the power of partnership, how working with people is such a critical part of what we do, both in developing designs for projects, but certainly in delivering those projects. This is our office in Cape Town. We're actually a group of 3 design studios. SAOTA focuses on architecture. We have an interior design company called ARC, which focuses on interior architecture and interior design. And a company called OCA, which you can see on the ground floor here, which focuses on bespoke furniture and lighting solutions. It's an integrated approach which allows us to deliver complete design solutions from an urban or master plan scale right down to the smallest details. And it's a model that gives our clients continuity, coherence, and control. Our work is diverse and spans many different typologies and continents. This is a project from about 25 years ago that exemplifies our design philosophy. Contemporary architecture that responds to landscape, climate, and very importantly to the way that people live in buildings. Good architecture should make life better for the person who happens to live in it. Bad architecture, and we know this in South Africa, for instance, with much of the housing that's been developed post-apartheid actually is a very negative thing and can lock people into poverty, for instance. At about the same time, we did the Radisson Blu in Dakar in Senegal, obviously a hospitality project that brought international standards into Dakar, which is one of West Africa's most dynamic cities. Our work, though, is global, and we are in Dubai busy with the Six Senses, which is currently under construction on the Palm. It's a mixed-use project with hotels, apartments, and villas. Currently under construction. It's busy being fitted out at the moment. We're also working with Aman in Turkey on Aman Roya, which is really an interesting project for us, working with Aman's philosophy of understated luxury and cultural sensitivity. Really a quite extraordinary project. Our work, we have a lot of work in Dubai, actually. This is LV39, which is a private residence. If anyone's, it's actually on the market at the moment, if anyone's interested, and has $114 million US. Let me know, I'll hook you up. It's a small reminder that the design excellence it directly translates into commercial value, amongst other things. Our global footprint is broad, 6 continents, 86 countries, nearly 200 cities, and it's given us robust systems. It's given us a lot of technical expertise, and it's given us a deep understanding of how to navigate complex international projects. On the continent, which is what I want to focus on today. global expertise isn't enough to deliver projects. It really comes down to the quality of partnerships that you have, authentic partnerships with clients, with consultants, developers, contractors. Africa is as people have already noted this morning, changing quite dramatically, and it's changing in very powerful and impactful ways. From music to literature, from art to architecture. Some of the most exciting stuff on the globe is actually coming out of the continent, and the world, I think, is starting to, if it hasn't noticed, it's going to notice soon. There's deep African influence in the global scene today. And our cities are obviously changing dramatically. Most of the world's mega cities in the next period will be African. Lagos will head towards 100 million people. Kinshasa will have 75 million people. Dar es Salaam will have 70 million people. A small town like Lilongwe will have 30 million people. Lusaka will have 30 million people. There's a significantly profound change happening, and you see it on the ground. This is what Addis Ababa is starting to look like. This is Abidjan, that's Tower F. If you look closely, you can see a lot of infrastructure that's coming into the city. Tower F is now the tallest structure on the continent. When it's finished, it'll be taller than the Shard in London. So it'll be taller than anything in Western Europe as well. It's a real statement of intent, of African ambition and economic confidence. Working with local teams is a critical thing for us. This growth is really an enormous opportunity, but it requires a specific approach. We work hand in hand with local architects, engineers, contractors, and consultants. It's not about parachuting in and leaving. It's about building capacity, transferring knowledge, and co-creating solutions that work. We, for instance, sometimes offer some of the architects that we work with training on our Revit systems, for instance, so that we can build capacity together for projects. This digital infrastructure has allowed us to work efficiently out of Cape Town. We don't have offices anywhere else. We have partnerships everywhere else. And amongst that is our BIM modeling system, which allows us to work seamlessly with teams. This is a project that we are currently out on tender with in Abidjan, mixed-use project. And these BIM models allow us to do a very deep level of coordination of all sorts of engineering specialities before we start construction. This technology, together with our strong local partnerships, really does help us de-risk these very complex projects. Before I look at some of our African, out of South African work, I want to show you two projects in Cape Town. Both villas, and I think they both show some of the values that we try to bring to every project that we work on. Light, space, life, nature, atmosphere, spirit, and story. Upper Albert this is a residence that shows our approach to site. It's actually at its heart a densification project, because the top part of the structure is a villa sitting above a series of apartments that then cascade down the slope. But it's obviously a very dramatic setting, very dramatic architecture. But at the same time, it's been quite a bold building. It's also quite a sensitive space. These are some of the upper levels. And it has this brutalist spirit, but it's softened by this landscaping, which also then connects it back to the mountain. These kind of connections to landscape are something that you see in a lot of our projects. This is another example, Kloof House. It's a home that integrates seamlessly into this dramatic mountain landscape. You can see Table Mountain rising up on the left-hand side. And it's intimate and warm, and it's a fairly large building, but it's pushed completely back into the landscape. It actually sits on one of Cape Town's busiest streets, and this stone wall is a reference to some of the way buildings were historically built in Cape Town. And it ensures privacy. The distinctive inverted pyramid roof, when you go into the building, becomes a mechanism that opens up to the views and the sky above. Let's turn to work on the continent, starting with Lagos, Nigeria, the economic powerhouse of West Africa, a city that is going to have a very profound effect on the planet. It's likely to be the largest city on Earth by the end of the century. So it's grown from probably about 250,000 people in 1950 to perhaps 25 million today. Absolutely extraordinary city. This is a project we did probably about 15 years ago now. It's a project in Ikoyi, which is a prestigious neighborhood in Lagos, and the challenge here was to design a private residence or a villa atop a series of apartments. Very complex project, and it required us, all of the engineering was done by Nigerian teams. It was just the architectural work, the design work that was done in Cape Town, implementation by Nigerian architects and built by Nigerian contractors. And a complex project, right? It would be complex anywhere on the world. Complex building codes, complex procurement, complex finishing, high level of finishing. And I think the result is a home that's both globally sophisticated, but African. It's Nigerian. It's deeply connected to its place, which is important to us. Then there's King's Tower, which is a landmark commercial project also in Lagos on Alfred Ruani Road. We wanted the building to talk to Lagos, or tell the story of Lagos, starting with these boats, little sailboats on the lagoon, sand miners, this kind of billowing sail full of the energy and promise of Lagos and Nigeria, to these palm fronds that shade the city streets. And this is the resulting building, hopefully uniquely of Lagos, and it tells a story of Nigeria. And the client wanted a building that would kind of position Lagos as a global business destination and attract premium tenants. In this case, Facebook and Microsoft came on board. And our partnership with local engineering and construction teams again was critical in realizing this. Again, difficult regulatory approvals, difficult procurement. We had a glazing supplier who went under when they were actually, I don't know if you guys remember that facade that burnt down on New Year's Eve in Dubai. When firecrackers lit it. That was our glazing supplier, and we didn't have the glazing, and I think that was at least an 8-month delay. So difficult challenges building at scale in any city, and especially in Lagos. But we're happy with the result. We think it's a testament to what collaboration can achieve. We're also working in Abidjan. This is a hotel for a local hospitality brand called Noom. Fantastic restaurants and this deck. A series of houses in Abidjan on the lagoon. There's another one. This is part of the same master plan called Laguna Bay. This is a series of apartments and villas. Again, only possible with a deep collaboration with local teams. And then some new work. This is a resort hotel we're working on in Dakar in Senegal, set in a baobab forest. Really exciting project. Tourism is a big driver of our economies, and there's a tremendous potential. We were talking about it yesterday. There are truly extraordinary opportunities in Africa. This is a new project in Casablanca, a mixed-use project, which I think is one of the important sectors for us to look at in the continent. I've run out of time, but just to conclude with some thoughts, I think first, SAOTA is at its core global, but it's African at its core, but it's also global. And this duality, I think, gives us and potentially gives other companies a way of working on the continent. The model's built, secondly, the model's built on partnership. As I've said, that's a critical component. Buildings need to be distinctive, buildable, financeable, and marketable. And thirdly, what we've done over time is built a track record from Lagos to Abidjan, Kigali to Nairobi, Dakar to Casablanca. We've got a really continental presence, which is exciting for us. And there's this extraordinary opportunity. By 2050, 20% of the world's population will be African. By the turn of the century, that number will rise to 40%. And these cities where we are working in will house billions of people. So in closing, we believe the future must be designed together with developers, investors, local teams, and global expertise all working in partnership. Thank you.